18 cars broke the track record in qualifying. 5 of the drivers in the top 10 of the championship standings start inside the top 20. The other 5 start 21st or worse.
And now, race fans, let's welcome back our Grand Marshal, Ms. Leanne Womack, for the most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Beautiful weather, an enthusiastic crowd, and a great race upcoming. Jimmy with a practice crash. He's in a backup car. He'll drop to the tail end of the field on the pace laps. Mike Skinner, great qualifying run. 3rd top 5 qualifying result in 8 tries with the 01 team.
And Junior on the inside of row 2 will move up to the pole. New front tire changer today. Tony Uri Jr. goes to the front. Bobby Labonte on the outside.
Rusty Wallace has a top 5 finish in both Kansas races. You heard him say he thinks today might be the day the long winless streak comes to a close.
Jeff Gordon and Bill Elliott back in row 4. Victory couldn't come from that row.
Yeah, Jeff, of course, winning both of the previous 2 races here at Kansas. While you look at the rest of the starting lineup, who are we going to talk to, Wally?
We're going to try to talk to Sterling. Sterling Marlin, this Wally up in the booth. Can you hear me?
I got you, Wally.
Now, this race car you're driving likes victory lane. This place was pretty rough on you last year. Can you get some revenge here?
Well, I hope so. We had a really good car and happy hour yesterday, and hopefully we get to see some turned around right here and get this Coors Light Dodge in victory lane.
Now, yesterday, this track had a lot of grip in it. Did your car like the low lane or the high lane?
Stuff worked good on the bottom yesterday. I never tried the high side, but looks like Michael got the high side worked in for us, so we'll see what we got.
All right, good luck today.
Sterling Marlin going to take the green flag in 29th starting spot today. Of course, Wally referring to the crash here on the race 1 year ago that ended Sterling Marlin's bid for a NASCAR Winston Cup championship when he was injured. So,
how many weeks did he lead it last year? 25 weeks.
Yeah.
He led the championship battle, and there he is on the inside of row 15. But talking to the crew and this morning, and Sterling, they said their car was very, very good.
Michael Waltrip so strong yesterday in the NASCAR Busch Series race, and last weekend's winner going to come from row 16. Jeff Burton, Texas Terry in row 17. Final guys that get in on time. Tony Raines qualified his backup car after a Friday morning crash. And there's your championship leader for a 2nd week in a row in provisional land.
Tell you what, we're going to have some very good race cars in the back of the field. Not only these group of provisionals that you see here, but as we talked about, the pole sitter Jimmy Johnson will be moving back there with these fellas.
Ken Schrader, kind of a home race for him from the St. Louis area in Missouri. Gets the last spot in the field. Johnny Sauter, Larry Foyt unable to qualify. Told you about Jimmy Johnson's backup car after his practice crash. So the championship leader's deep in the field. Jeff Gordon has won both the previous races here. Nobody's ever won the first 3 straight races at a new track before. Jeff and Tony Stewart have both accomplished that. And also Kevin Harvick did it at Chicagoland. So we'll see if Gordon can score the 3-peat. How much will the outside lane come into play? What's the winning pit strategy going to be? As they used to say in the old soap operas, the answers to these and other questions as this episode of the Banquet 400 unfolds here in Kansas. Tony Stewart way up out of the groove, kept it off the wall. You saw him in the back of the pack there in the orange car. He hung on to it. Mike Skinner leads. Dale Jr. second, Rusty Wallace third, Jeff Gordon fourth. And you look at Tony Stewart, who has fallen back
19th after starting in the 14th position, so that little slip only cost him 5 spots.
That's a car slipping up there, 1 and 2.
And way at the back of of field.
Well, he is now.
Yeah. He's going to be, yeah.
Dale Jr. for the lead on Mike Skinner. And yeah, that is the Army car. Little camouflage paint job here for this weekend. So Junior out in front. Now Rusty Wallace in the deuce for second.
Whoa. Well, these cars are so loose in these early laps. They're all concerned that as they burn fuel and run into these runs on these tires that they will tighten up, and they start them so loose. I think that's what happened to Tony Stewart. Greg Biffle did the same thing the last lap, and somebody did it down in turn 1 on that second lap.
Speaking of Greg Biffle. Wow, who's that? Elliott Sadler with a 3-wide move under Bill Elliott and Ronnie Labonte. That's for 6th place. Here's the Biffle thing. Watch the 16.
Oh, he got real loose.
Hang on, Cowboy.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and missed the ball somehow.
Wow.
But look at those cars going by as he tries to get the thing back up to speed.
And that looked like he just got a little bit out of the groove with the pressures down. Grab him.
Rusty Wallace for the lead. The Beer Wagons battle.
He said on a pre-race show, victory drought was going to end today. It was going. Oh, he is so loose.
If he can keep that thing off the wall today. But you're right, Benny, that you have to start these things a little bit loose, or it will get too tight, especially down in 3 and 4 where you can't turn the car. Now, if Junior gets behind the 2 car any closer, that's just going to aggravate that loose that Rusty has.
There's 3rd place changing hands. Jeff Gordon around Mike Skinner. 24 car, 1 spot closer to the point.
And believe me, the 8 car saw that wobble, and he knows that.
Yeah.
Dale Jr. says, okay, Rusty's a little bit loose. If I get right back up to him.
Had Tony Stewart chasing up out of the groove in the opening lap, Matt.
Alan, he keyed the mic and said, Zippy, I tried doing something in 3 and 4 that I didn't want to do, and it didn't work in 1 and 2. As we have a lead change, but did say the gear selection we made is going to be the one that's going to be good for today.
All right, so despite the early wobble, some optimism from Tony Stewart. Meanwhile, Dale Jr. back around.
Junior got right up on the back of Rusty coming off a 4 there to make that pass. So,
well, you talked about pressures down. If you're new to NASCAR, the cars start with their tire pressures somewhat reduced from where they might normally be. Picture going out to your passenger car and letting about 5 pounds of air out of it, and they do that why?
Actually, it would feel more than 5 pounds. If you had 30 pounds of air, it almost feels like you've got 7 pounds of air in your tire, because when these tires get hot, they build pressure. So the pressures gain, and you don't want to start with high pressures, because as the tire gets hot, then the tires will have too much pressure and they'll be sliding all over the place. So you start the tires down. The problem is when you go out on tires that are low pressures like that, the cars are really, really wiggly and they're very squirrely. So it's very difficult to hang on to these cars up to about 3 or 4 laps when you get some temperature and you get the pressures built back up in them.
Early troubles.
Derek Cope has an engine problem, but he gets the car down to the apron of the racetrack in turns 3 and 4.
And a change for 4th place.
And Skinner's having a hard time right now.
Yeah, he is. Tier 1 car.
I talked to him yesterday. They said their car was really, really good in the first practice, and then they tried tuning on it, and in the second practice, they really lost the handle. So he was really concerned about that yesterday.
That was Jeff Green we saw going by. Skinner and Bill Elliott following him through. Tell you what, that 43 car has been looking good all weekend so far.
Sure has. Garrett Putnam, the crew chief on the 43, told me this morning, and don't forget, my pit crew is as good as any on pit road. We're not going to lose him any spots today. Okay, Gary, we'll check you out. Elliott.
And you see Elliott got Jeff Green a little bit loose right there coming off of turn 2.
That's 4th place.
That's 4th place.
Okay, I'm showing you 4th place. My bad. I held up 4 fingers to Wally, so we know that was 4th place.
I forgot the sign.
it wasn't for the knuckle curve, okay? Yeah. Bill Elliott, I talked to his crew chief Mike Ford this morning. I said, how's your car? He said, it's okay, but you got to understand Mike. Mike's kind of a shy guy. He doesn't say a whole lot. When he said okay, he had this Cheshire Cat grin on his face. And I said, okay, so that means it's pretty good, huh?
Here's a battle with a couple of guys that might have a chance to win this thing before the day is over. 8th and 9th. How about this 42, Dave?
He started 15th, Benny, and he's been moving up through this field. gets Jamie a little bit pumped up because he's from nearing here. He's a little bit tight from the center off as we get another lead change. But that? Jamie, in the last 6 races, has scored the 4th most points of anybody in this series, so the 42 on the charge.
Rusty drove the car in the corner just a little too deep in one, but Gordon goes by Junior, takes over second.
So Wallace out in front, Gordon second, Earnhardt Jr. third, and closing on all of them, Bill Elliott in 4th.
Yes, he is.
Bill Elliott is running away from the field in the early laps to the Banquet 400. We're just past 50 miles now, and Elliott's opened up a 5-second lead on Rusty Wallace.
And he's putting these guys down. There's Jimmy Johnson, and that is the problem with starting in the back. We talked about you get a guy that's hooked up, he's going to be in your mirror quick.
He sure is, and there's a great battle for the 3rd position between Jeff Gordon and Ryan Newman. Last year at the end of the race, it was a battle for 1st and 2nd. This time Newman goes to 3rd.
There's Jimmy going a lap down, as Wally was talking about a second ago. That's depressing.
Oh, don't you know that?
Now, the first thing that went through his head, now I'm the lucky dog. I have to stay here.
He's got to stay in front of the target car.
That's right.
Trust me when I tell you, that was not the first thing that went through his mind. He said,
second thing,
Gunny, why didn't I start on the pole and I'd be up there racing with that 9 car? Matt?
And Benny, I know you're not going to be surprised when I tell you that Jimmy did say, I believe there's debris down in turn 1.
Oh, yeah.
But Chad did tell him before he was passed to try to protect that bottom as long as you can, to try to hold up the leader just in case we get a caution.
So Jimmy in 29th place, first car a lap down, which is only going to be good until Bill Elliott catches Ward Burton. And then he's no longer going to be the lucky dog.
There's Jeremy Mayfield going by the 42 car. Murray goes into the 6th position.
Been a great month for Mayfield. Trying to keep the roll going. McMurray and Dale Jarrett right behind him. Murray in 7th, Jarrett in 8th. How about that 19 car, Matty?
Well, Mayfield and his teammate, at least for today, Timone, moving up into the 6th position. Jeremy, his car, very good, much like his teammate Bill Elliott, but the car is getting tighter. They're talking about what changes to make on their first stop.
And Jimmy Johnson just could not stand it anymore, losing too much time to the leader. He was lapped. They decided to come in, make a pit stop, make some changes, and hope that this race stays green. And all the rest of the leaders will have to make their pit stop.
It kind of goes back to what we were saying before. Once Bill Elliott got by Ward Burton, the incentive for Jimmy to stay on track was gone because he wasn't the first car 1 lap down anymore.
There's a lot of guys choosing the pit right now. Jimmy Spencer's in. Kenny Wallace.
Matt.
And he is certainly down and away, but they made a track bar adjustment to try to fix that tight race car, Benny.
Jeff Green.
Yep, and Mike Wallace and Mike Skinner all on pit road here as Jimmy Johnson heads back out on track.
I'm sure Skinner was looking to get on as quick as possible because he's been struggling.
Now, we talked about yesterday in the NASCAR Busch Series race, a little change in race procedure where the entrance to pit road is concerned.
All right, this is the commitment line. You cross that, no more can you come down and go back on the racetrack. You must continue down pit road. Also, you cannot come inside that way to enter pit road. Both of those will be a penalty this year, this race.
Matt?
Mike Skinner already down and away. They made a chassis adjustment to try to fix his car. It was extremely tight. He was trying to change his line, arcing the corners to try to help that race car. As the 9's on pit road, Marty.
Leader Bill Elliott comes down pit road. He radioed Mike Ford. He asked how the car was, and Bill said it's good. Even in traffic, that's a pretty good race car if you ask me. It'll be a 4-tire change for Bill Elliott. No changes on the chassis, Bill.
Jeff Gordon has one of the early pit stalls as you come off the racetrack. Got into it without a problem. It's a wedge adjustment and an air pressure adjustment because the car was extremely tight in turns 3 and 4. Came off the track running fourth. He's got 4 tires of fuel. Now Matt Kenseth on the pit road, and we know how difficult it has been for him. Driving a backup car, he talked about the track bar adjustment and the air pressure adjustment to try and loosen his car up a little bit. They make a wedge adjustment, come around to the left side. Matt looking for his second win of the season. Left side tires going on. Lost the car here on Friday, trying to protect his position on the track and in the points. Dave?
Jamie McMurray in. The guy's ready to change tires, fill him full of fuel. Remember, complaining that the car was a little bit tight through the center, and especially on the throttle. They're going to make a track bar adjustment or a wedge adjustment and an air pressure adjustment for Jamie. 4-tire stop for McMurray. Marty?
Leader Rusty Wallace comes down pit road. His car is tight. Not bad, though, just a little bit tight in the center, but he said just enough that the 9 car of Bill Elliott is beating me. This will be 4 scuff tires for Rusty Wallace, and some pretty big changes. A pound in the right rear, a pound out of the right front. His teammate Ryan Newman in front of him on pit road. Ryan said the car extremely tight. He describes it as 6 tight for Ryan Newman. They make a wedge and air pressure adjustment, trying to loosen that car up.
It's Elliott, Rusty Wallace, Ryan Newman, Jeff Gordon, and Jeff Green will be the top 5 after the round of green flag pit stops. Caution, and we're back at Kansas Speedway. Michael Waltrip in trouble off turn 2.
There's somebody else down there, too, I thought.
That's him. Are you mean on the inside?
Yeah, I thought there was a car on the inside right there.
Oh, there is. That's Matt Kenseth. That's the championship leader. He lost an engine last week at Talladega, and he's crashed to the inside wall at Kansas.
And some heavy, and he goes to the car, but he drives away, Bill.
Yeah, you can see it, Benny. A lot of damage to the radiator. They told him to take it to the garage.
Not good.
Ooh, he's broken an oil line.
Yep, that thing's going to get hot in a minute.
As he tried to drive away, an oil line came back. That was a brief fire that we saw, but did he ruin the engine in that brief second that he ran it without oil?
Yep, I bet he did, BP. Unless he caught it.
They've got problems after his super clean season so far.
See if we can see exactly what might have happened off turn 2.
Looks like somebody's way up there in the marbles. That's Michael.
And that spun trying to turn off and keep from hitting him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see there. Yep.
That's exactly what happened. Michael got high. He was running that high line, and looks like he got up in the gray area. Car got loose.
And the grass just did not slow Matt Kenseth's car down. But that concrete wall did. Abruptly.
That's exactly what happened. Matt just turned that wheel down to avoid Michael. Boy, that thing hooked.
Oh, man, did it ever.
Under caution for the first time in the race after Michael Waltrip crashed off of turn 2, and Matt Kenseth, trying to avoid Waltrip, spun to the inside and caught the inside wall. Waltrip has continued. Kenseth is in the garage with repairs being made to his Ford.
You know, the restarts were tricky yesterday, BP, when those cars a lap down moved up. It's going to be interesting to see how it works out here, but it seemed like when the pressures were down on the restarts, that bottom line, it was real tricky to stay low, and the guys in the high line really try to pinch the guys down low, and there was a lot of cars getting loose.
And we got to go back to about, who's the first car that pitted? Bill Elliott in 12th?
Yeah, he was 13th after the pit stops there.
But these guys up here have not made a pit stop, so they're out there on the old tires. There's a restart line. We saw that rule. Oh,
that.
Mark wanted to get to the inside quickly, didn't he?
Now, Mark Martin, Steve Park, and Ward Burton are tail end of the lead lap. Rusty Wallace is the leader.
Oh,
They are
3 wide.
up. See, I told you it was tricky.
Remember that the 2 car is the leader. Those other cars were between Bill Elliott and Rusty Wallace, and when Bill went down pit road, they stayed on track and were the first ones behind the pace car.
Ward Burton way up high. He's going to lose a bunch of spots.
Finally gets the car back under control without losing control, but here's Rusty trying to get work by these lap cars. And now that the leader doesn't give laps back, all these guys know they've got to stay in front to get that lap back. They're not going to be the lucky dog like Jimmy Spencer's Mongo was the last time. He was able to get a lap back.
Jimmy was the first car not on the lead lap when the caution came out. Now he's back in 22nd place. Jeff Gordon is in 3rd behind Ryan Newman and Rusty Wallace. How about about the leader, Marty.
Alan, when Rusty Wallace came down pit road the last time and changed tires, he took off this right front tire. You see the damage on this tire. It is literally shredded on the inside tread. That could have been something they ran over. It could be a wear issue. Billy Wilburn, the crew chief, did not tell Rusty about it. They think they maybe ran over something. Rusty said nothing about hitting anything on the racetrack. We saw right front be a problem yesterday when Michael Waltrip hit the wall. We talked about it earlier. It could be a problem today as well.
Man, that is a scary-looking situation.
Yeah, it's not a problem you want.
So now these guys are going to have to pit about 55, 60 laps just to make sure they take care of that tire.
Rusty Wallace and Ryan Newman, the Penske Racing South teammates, in first and second. Jeff Gordon is third. Jeff Green fourth. Jamie McMurray fifth. Rest of the top 10 are Dale Jarrett, Jeremy Mayfield, Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart, and Jason Leffler. Bill Elliott has lost a few spots after this restart. He's back to 16th place. He took the green in 12th. So in a big jam up of traffic when Ward Burton got out of the groove and slid back, it caught Bill Elliott out and he lost a few positions.
All right, Ryan Newman talked to his crew about his tires. Here's what he said.
Ryan, tire wear-wise, looks like we're just a tick to the heavy on the left front, and right rear starting to wear a little bit more than the right front. It looks like definitely the left front's giving up, and then after a while, the right rear finally starts to give up. But in general, that's on a full fuel run there. They don't look bad, but definitely more than last year.
This here feels like it's going to wear the right rear just a little bit more through the whole run.
Well, that's actually good.
Yeah, that's real good.
Because they're oh, we got trouble in two.
Turn one, turn two. It's Dave Blaney. Don't come back across traffic. Wow.
Unfortunately, you don't have a whole lot to do with that.
So, a lot of cars, very fortunate, they aren't going to get a lap back.
Hi, Dave.
All the cars in front of leader Rusty Wallace. Mike Skinner, Mark Martin, Joe Nemechek, Steve Park, Elliott Sadler, and John Andretti will all get a free mile-and-a-half pass by being in front of leader Rusty Wallace.
And a guy that doesn't like the lucky dog rule is going to be the benefactor.
Well, we should ask him if he likes it now.
We should have Jimmy Johnson. I wonder how he likes the rule now.
Jimmy told us yesterday during our NASCAR Busch Series broadcast he liked the not racing back to the caution.
We can stay out.
But he did not necessarily care for someone being given a lap back. Bill.
Alan, they continue to work on Matt Kenseth's car down here in the garage, and the reason they have not fired it, they didn't have the radiator in there. They had to cut away the sheet metal and the nose piece and then try and fit the radiator back in there. So they just now got that wedged in there. They're going to need some brackets. They've got saws, torches, all kinds of equipment working on this car. Matt continues to sit in the driver's seat. A few minutes ago, he lowered the shield so you could not even see his eyes. You know he's very disappointed and obviously upset, so he put down the shield so people could not see and read what he was thinking. So Matt in the car while his crew continues to work on it. The laps going, the clock ticking.
Got one in the wall behind you, one in the wall behind you. We'll be out. Caution's out.
Elliott Sadler in trouble as we come back to the Kansas Speedway.
Got a fire truck right there at you, so you can hear me.
Well, we talked about those right front tires. We saw one. Could this be the start of something else? Because he obviously has blown a right front tire. Could be from a puncture.
And once again, the safety vehicle is rolling quickly by no longer racing back to the caution flag.
And like the rule or not, that's the benefit of the rule right there.
Exactly.
That's what's the most important thing, is that these guys can get to that car that quick.
That's a hard hit.
Well, Elliott jumps out. Well, doesn't jump out. He is out.
That's 2 weeks in a row for Elliott.
Let's take a look. Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
That is definitely a blown right front.
See the tire coming apart. That's the right window out of the right door. And you see, well, there's the fuel pump fire. On the Ford, the fuel pump is on the left side. Yep, that's the oil pump fire. That's oil that has ruptured a line that's coming back on the exhaust system that is causing that fire.
Either way, it's really hard to breathe inside that car right now.
Here come the leaders to pit road. Stops will be at the completion of lap 106. Dale Jarrett, Bill Elliott, Jeremy Mayfield, Terry Labonte, and Todd Bodine are the top 5 coming in. Go ahead, Marty.
Elliott, middle of the screen. Allen, as you see, in second position. Todd Bodine pitting in front of him, so he'll have to work his way around him. 4 tires and fuel. Bill wants no changes on the car. Dave?
Perfect stop for Jamie McMurray. Half around the wedge, still a little bit loose for him. A 4-tire change for McMurray. Matt?
Dale Jarrett told Sean Parker, I need to have my car just a little bit tighter. So he's going to try to fix that with air pressure in the right front.
I saw some 2-tire stops. Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Johnny Benson, Jimmy Johnson. I caught with just taking right side tires.
Well, the problem is that they're not going to be able to change they can change just rights, but they're not going to be able to do the lefts the next time. They've got to change rights each time they stop.
Yeah.
All right, here's the race off, and it's Rusty Wallace. Unanimous. 24.
Yeah. These are all the 2-tire guys.
Oh, where's the, oh, finally, Harvey comes off.
48.
And Jimmy Johnson, he's back in the race.
Terry Labonte sneaking in there.
Remember, he had been running up front because he didn't pit under that last caution. So we're under caution for the 3rd time in the Banquet 400, presented by Conagra. Championship leader Matt Kenseth continuing to be a big story. Involved in an early crash, still in the garage getting repairs. Whoa. The great run John Andretti was having in the Petty 43.
Jeff Green.
I'm sorry, Jeff Green, thank you.
Right front tire, but he did it in the same spot that Michael Waltrip did it in the Busch race yesterday. Matt, did he say anything?
BP about a lap ago, he came on the radio, said, I feel a vibration. His crew chief told him, all right, bring it on. All the guys jumped up on pit road, and then it went.
Bill Elliott, Jimmy Johnson, Johnny Benson, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, the top 5 coming to pit road. We saw a few of those guys just take right side tires last time for some track position. Wonder who we'll see just take rights this time. Bill?
It'll be 4 tires for Jeff Gordon. He thinks he has a flat right side tire. He has 100 laps on his lefts. It's an air pressure adjustment and track bar adjustment. Marty.
Blistering pace set by Bill Elliott. They said smooth stop, no pressure on the stop. He was 10 laps from pitting anyway. Guess what? No changes on the car, Dave.
Johnny Benson restarted 8th, worked his way all the way up to 3rd. No changes for this car. 4-tire change. Matt?
1 round out of the left rear, 1 round in the right rear. They're still trying to free up Jimmy Johnson's race car. It starts a little bit on the free side of the 9-car. Bill Elliott off pit road, and then it starts to go to the tight side. He will go out 2nd.
Looks like that Johnny Benson lost a spot.
You know, it's amazing that Bill Elliott has not adjusted on that car, because usually you have to chase the racetrack a little bit. You know, the track is going to change. That car must be really hooked up if you don't have to make a change the whole race.
And we're back to green here with Bill Elliott leading Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Johnny Benson, and Kevin Harvick after the pit stops.
Right now, the Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon car is able to keep up with Bill Elliott pretty well.
Whoa. Ricky Craven has some trouble there. He was really, really out of the groove. The car was wiggling, and he's losing a lot of positions right now.
Look at this group.
Oh, man.
Terry Labonte, Rusty Wallace, 5 and 2, and Jamie McMurray in 42 are the lead lap cars in that group, and they're racing for 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Seems like every time today we've seen Rusty Wallace, he's in that kind of situation, and we got a crash.
Caution is out. Joe Nemechek. 5th yellow of the race. And it comes out just after 250 miles. And there is Matt Kenseth.
Car looks like a Saturday night racer.
Matt involved in a crash back at lap 69 when Michael Waltrip actually crashed in front of him, and he spun trying to avoid Michael and spent 43 minutes in the garage getting repairs. And it doesn't look like any of the leaders are going to come back onto pit road so quickly after they just stopped. 170 laps complete. Bill Elliott is the leader here in Kansas. Speaking of pit crews, what a job Matt Kenseth's team has done today to get that car back out on the racetrack after the heavy crash damage earlier. Here, Ryan Newman might come in.
He's been struggling a great deal with that car. You going to come in and get an adjustment?
He's back in 23rd place. Marty, what's up?
Actually, the car has not been that bad, VP. They've been stuck back in traffic, but they're playing their hand. They came in lap 171 2 laps ago, took on 4 tires, filled it up with fuel. When he left pit road, Matt Borland said, start saving fuel now. That would have left him 96 laps from the end of the race. They're going to come down this time. You see him coming down pit road now, top off with fuel. They cannot go 96 laps, but they can go 71 laps on a tank of fuel. They've done it many times. They've done it in Dover. If they get some caution laps, might be able to go all the way.
Hey, Marty, the big reason he had to stop because he had lug nuts loose on the left front.
They actually got them tight the last time, BP. He started to leave pit road. They stopped him, backed him up, tightened them all again, and then sent him back on the way.
Just
They wanted to make
sure.
sure they were all tight this time.
And they wanted just to be sure, so they tried again to tighten them.
Green flag, green flag.
Back underway with Bill Elliott leading. Jimmy Johnson second. Jeff Gordon third. Johnny Benson fourth. Kevin Harvick fifth. 24 cars on the lead lap at this point.
Looking out of Bill Elliott's car, back at Jimmy Johnson. Here's Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte.
6th place.
6th spot. These guys have been doing this for what now? 20. Rusty started in 1984. Almost 20 years now.
Boy, that groove is really working up.
Isn't it though? Well, we talked about that
Battle
before.
for the lead. Look at this. Here comes Johnson. This is the first time today we've seen anybody challenge Bill Elliott. But Jimmy Johnson does it. Wow.
Not so fast.
Oh. Well, I thought he had him there for a minute.
He's still in there. Remember, this is a backup car for Jimmy Johnson. He was involved in a practice crash Saturday, started last in the field in this car. And he's still alongside Elliott for the lead. Matty?
A much better restart this time than on the previous restart. Still battling on the inside, trying to retake the lead. Jimmy, though, still feels like, as the 32 is smoking, Jimmy still feels like they're 1 or 2 adjustments away of having the car where they really need it.
Ricky Craven's radio.
I hope it did.
We stay green. Oh, that's tough luck. 32 cars really struggled these last couple of weeks, Marty, huh?
It's been such a struggle just today, Alan, for these guys. Earlier, he said it felt like it was riding on 4 flat tires, and now the engine has let go for Ricky Craven.
It's really been a tough run for that 32 car. 30th, 38th, 40th. His 3 finishes before getting a top 10 at Talladega last week.
Sounds like Ryan Newman back in May and June.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Elliott fended him off.
I think you need to get a little bit of temperature and pressure in those tires.
And he's gotten and gone.
He goes.
Most laps Bill Elliott led in the race prior to today, 55 at New Hampshire. He's led 92 so far today as we check the Little Debbie lap leaders. Next top driver to lead laps, Dale Jarrett at 25. You see Bill Elliott is led early, and he's led often.
How about that? Elliott, Jarrett, Rusty Wallace, all guys that everyone is saying is too old to do this anymore.
They're not saying it.
No, they aren't, but some people are saying that.
Speaking of Dale Jarrett, he's pursuing Tony Stewart and Sterling Marlin for 9th, 10th, and 11th positions. Talked to Greg Zipadelli this morning. Thought they'd be a little more of a force in today's race than they've been so far in that 20 car for Stewart.
Yeah, when you think of this racetrack and the groove being right on the bottom down next to the white line, you right away think of Tony Stewart because he always tries to get that car working down there, but today it hasn't worked well.
And still, Rusty Wallace and Terry Labonte race, but now Jamie McMurray joins the chase in that 42 car. See his back end wiggle when he got down into turn 3 there. I bet that's a fun feeling for a driver at 100.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think? 60 miles an hour?
Lots of fun. Faster than that, I bet here.
Caution. Got one going up in smoke down the front stretch. Kurt Busch. I guess it finally ran out of oil.
So that's not really too big of a surprise.
Oh, that thing's getting hot. Goodness. Get out of there.
Time to get out.
And look how quickly the fire truck's there.
Yes. Oh, man, that is so cool to see. All that oil that we saw inside the car got so hot that it caught on fire.
Looks like 7th place Jamie McMurray is the only one of the top 10 who's going to come to pit road under this caution. This is on board Kurt Busch.
Stop right there. Get the ambulances and everything off of 2. Just stop right there. Get out of there. Stop right there.
That's not what a driver wants to see when he's pulling off into the grass.
Or field. Man.
Amazing how fast you can get out, though, when you're on fire, isn't it?
Here we go. 77 laps. Does Ryan Newman have fuel to the finish?
Green flag. They're all over each other, weren't they?
Bill Elliott leads. Jimmy Johnson 2nd. Jeff Gordon 3rd. Kevin Harvick 4th. Rusty Wallace 5th.
Oh, Leffler wants that lap, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Be careful here. He's going to be in the middle. Not a good place to be.
He's in the middle. He's on the outside now. Lots of cars going by, blowing by on the inside.
Second, third, and fourth. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick. They've all cleared the lap traffic.
Oh, there's something else sliding up there.
Greg Biffle looks like got loose down in 1 and 2. What Wally was talking about.
Seems like on each restart, somebody really goes up that bank.
Another pack coming behind him.
Oh, yeah.
Still all the lap cars mixed up in there.
Terry Labonte's trying to clear him. Looks like he's got it cleared.
Terry running 6th.
Now Rusty Wallace has got to clear those guys.
This is Robbie Gordon in the 31. 27th place, 1 lap down.
Rusty on the inside.
Robbie trying to go by straight with a 4 wide now.
Wow. It's just one of those places you can get on the apron, too, and it doesn't really upset the car too bad.
And I'm sure that, and they're still trying to go 3 wide in the corner. That is definitely not going to work. And here comes Harvick on the inside of Rusty Wallace.
It's Sterling Marlin.
Yeah, a little different paint job on the 40 car this week. They look fairly similar.
Oh, that's right. It's not Harvick. It's Sterling.
I was watching Dale Jarrett in the 88. He got down on the apron and got into some of that oil drive from where Kurt Busch had the blown engine. I was curious to see if his car would turn when it got to turn 1. Picking up all the marbles on the tires. But
normally, if you run straight through it, it's not too bad.
But he got through it okay. DJ running in 9th spot. And that 54 car right behind him. Great drive today for Todd Bodine in the National Guard machine. Here's a team that has defined the word struggle this year.
Bobby just could not use all the racetrack off turn 4, let the car drift out, so Todd was able to maintain that spot.
There goes Bobby again.
Yeah.
Sliding up the track.
Okay, if I can't keep it down, I'll try the top line. And again, this is something that using that higher lane. Whoop, got a car on the wall. And spinning back through traffic, it's Michael Waltrip.
We spun around and 3 and 4 guys got back damage. We're on the apron. We'll be coming to pit road here.
The NASCAR spotters have just called in that there was a left front tire rub on that car not 10 seconds before he spun. So I wonder if the tire went down.
I saw there's something smoke out of the back of that car a few laps ago off turn 2. and he's decided to take the car directly to the garage.
He went to the garage, Slugger. He went to the garage.
Yeah, I think he's probably decided he's had enough.
Well, this won't be a fun ride.
Let's listen.
Try to hold it up there. Hold it up there. We spun around and 3 and 4 guys got back damage. We're on the apron. We'll be coming to pit road here.
All you're doing is standing on the brakes. There's no way you can hold it up there. You try, but...
All right, here they all come down pit road. Bill.
Jeff Gordon told Robbie Loomis, free this thing up or we're going to get our butts kicked. So they're going to make a chassis adjustment. Right side tires going on. They're also going to bump up the spoiler a little bit right on the edge of the fuel window. Pack it full of fuel. Marty.
Mike Ford told Bill Elliott, top of your screen, we can make it all the way from here. 4 tires, no changes. Most important man on this team right now, Rodney Rose, pack it full of fuel, already on his way, Matt.
This may be the last chance that Jimmy Johnson has to fix his race car. They made a track bar adjustment as a number of cars go by. Johnson takes on 4 tires. Jim hollered the gas man, packing it full of fuel. Service finally complete.
18 car of Bobby Labonte, no tire change, fuel only for him. They jacked the left side of the car up to try to make sure they got every drop of fuel in they could.
And I'll tell you what, we have got ourselves a real mixed up deal now. Jamie McMurray, the first one off. Jeff Burton right beside of him. Tony Stewart. We still haven't seen Elliott. Ricky Rudd. Rusty Wallace. Okay.
We're not going to see Bill for a little bit yet.
Jeff Gordon. Bobby Labonte. Dale. Sterling. Okay, Bill, come on. Speed the tape up. Sure, there, finally, is Bill Elliott.
Jeremy Mayfield's the new leader. Ryan Newman is second. Those are the 2 drivers whose teams did not call them to pit road under the caution. Marty?
Ryan Newman and his bunch are at it again. I'm just going to ask you direct questions from now on. Are you going to pit again?
We're still short on fuel right now, but we'll see how things go. We're going to need another few yellows to help us out here, but it's unfortunately the position we're in, and we got to roll the dice at this point.
They are about now, though, 7 laps short on fuel. Before they were 12. Matt?
Kenny Francis called Mayfield back in to top off at lap 189. Now, how close are you?
It's hard to say. It's going to be pretty close. You know, we'll just see what happens. We might get some more cautions, might not, but we probably need to save, 6-7 laps. But we think we can do it.
Mayfield the leader, Newman second, Jamie McMurray third, Jeff Burton fourth, Tony Stewart fifth, followed by Ricky Rudd, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Labonte, and Dale Jarrett. Bill Elliott, who's dominated today, came down pit road in the lead, got 4 tires and fuel. He's 15th with 62 laps to go.
It's amazing these guys can only run about 55, 60 laps on the first run, but they have visions of running 75, 80 laps on the second run. It's amazing. Oh,
yikes.
Yikes is correct.
That's what I was talking about earlier, that it's very hard to keep those cars down on the bottom like that on the restart. The car just wants to slide up the racetrack.
It was Casey Mears in the 41 trying to stay with leader Jeremy Mayfield. Casey, the first car, 1 lap down. Target cars in 26th place. Jamie McMurray in third after a quick pit stop, Dave.
He wasn't the only guy that took fuel only, but he didn't have to take as much. That's because he came in and topped off on lap 189 after, on the same caution, they had a problem, missed an adjustment, and had to make a restop. They put on 4 new tires, made their adjustment. So just when they thought they were down, they're back up.
Their track position back. McMurray made a quick move to the outside on the restart.
Ran in the back of the 12 car, just made slight contact with Ryan Newman. Obviously got a much better start than Ryan did, or anticipated the green better.
And almost jumped out of the groove coming off of turn 4. McMurray talking about in that 42.
Busy right here.
Real busy.
Jeff Gordon in 8th place in the 24. Dale Jarrett kind of pinned in traffic. Bobby Labonte and Sterling Marlin to his outside, and that is a race for a spot there. 88 car kind of pinned in behind the 0 and the 74 that are not on the lead lap.
Jimmy Johnson thought about going on the outside of Dale Jarrett. It was going to make it 3 wide in the corner. This groove is widened out, and I'm not sure it's that wide.
I don't think so either. But here, Harvick was looking too.
Oh, he wanted to, didn't he?
Yeah.
Remember the 48 car, Jimmy Johnson, like Bill Elliott in the 9, was up front before the caution, but he got 4 tires on the yellow, and all the other guys played their strategy in front of him.
Harvick's getting underneath the 48. See if he can stay there. Couldn't use the track there, but looks like he's got a pretty good run.
That's 12th place there, Molly. How about Bill Elliott? He's led 115 of the 210 laps today, and now at a crucial point in the race, he and the team find themselves with a decision. They know there are going to be people take 2 tires and 4 tires. Do you take the 4 tires and count on your car being strong enough to get back through the pack all day? Or
the next stop, you mean?
No, now.
Oh,
last one. That was with 65 to go. They're not coming in again.
Yeah, no, I think they did the right thing. I think they made the right move.
Bill Elliott moving up again, just took the 10th spot away from Sterling Marlin. We saw that he was 9 seconds behind Jeremy Mayfield earlier.
Bobby Labonte looks back at Elliott. Here he comes. Boy, he can't even see him now. He might be so close he can't see him. Okay, see you, Bobby.
Yes, sir.
So 9th place to Bill Elliott.
But is probably still 9 seconds behind the leader.
That was my point. He hasn't made up any ground on Mayfield. He's gaining positions.
Yes.
But he hasn't made up any ground. Long way to go. And he begins to work on Ricky Rudd now for 8th place. Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace here racing for 6th and 7th. Rusty has led 5 different times today for 23 laps. Jeff Gordon, despite going for the triple, has not been in the lead for a single lap so far today. Both took just right side tires on their last pit stop. What do we think with these stops at 65 to go? Have we seen the last fuel stops for the day? If we go green to the finish?
65 laps. I think that some of them might be able to run 65. But again, on the green flag, it's only going to be a few. I don't think many of them can run that far.
Of course, big question is right now the top 2.
He's up there.
Gordon?
Yeah, that's almost a little bit too high. Lost a little ground there.
The top 2 there, Mayfield and Newman, topped off with 70, or Mayfield stopped with 78 to go. And the same for Ryan Newman. So, what are their crews thinking now? Let's go through the field. Matt, you got it first.
They are still crunching the numbers for Jeremy Mayfield. Still a little short, but a solid run by one of the Dodge boys. Both cars running well today. Mayfield has what he needs, though. Clean air to try to conserve fuel, Marty.
Matt Ryan Newman in 2nd place is 8 laps short on the fuel. Matt Borland about every lap says conserve fuel. Ryan says I'm already doing it. Dave?
The car is good for Jamie McMurray. Remember, no tire change last time. Just filled it full of fuel. Matt?
What a day for Tony Stewart. Never lost confidence, and he has been coaching his team. He congratulated them on getting him the track position. They are good to go on fuel. Greg Zappadelli told me, unless we get a caution, the tires are welded on till the finish. Bill?
The good news is Jeff Burton is running in the top 5. The bad news is he's going to have to stop for fuel. He cannot make it. Earlier today, he didn't have any brakes. He's got some brakes now, but doesn't have enough fuel, Marty.
Bill Rusty Wallace does have enough fuel, and earlier he described his car as loose as a goose. The goose is a little less loose now, actually tight for Rusty Wallace, but pretty happy with the chassis overall. Bill?
Jeff Gordon was loose in, but very, very, very tight off. So they had to free up the car and try and help him into the turns, racing door-to-door with the 9. That's why they bumped up the spoiler and why they also tried to free him up. So it was a combination of two things. Marty?
Bill Elliott trying to get 2 cars in one pass, looking to go underneath Rusty Wallace, and he does, moving to the 6th position. They said on the radio a moment ago, don't let any of these guys hold you up. We need to get to the front and fast. Let's go win this thing.
Matt Kenseth crashed earlier in the race, the championship leader. He spent about 45 minutes back in the garage, came back out. He just passed Kurt Busch and is currently running 38th. He's only 11 laps away from passing Michael Waltrip, picking up positions, passing cars that have fallen out of the race. Trouble.
Down the front stretch, it's Mark Martin. And the caution is out.
And I don't know that Mark has hit anything. Now you say you freeze the field, but Mark, he goes in the position that he gets his car going again. Whatever position he is now, that's the position he will restart this race.
Well, what a break for Bill Elliott.
Yeah, I was
this
thinking
is
the same
exactly
thing.
what he needed right here.
He was 8 seconds behind Jeremy Mayfield. The caution allows him to close that up. Now the question is, who pits?
Bill Elliott won't. Well, he just got loose. He got on the inside of Skinner. He was trying to hang on to the car, and then he bounced off of Skinner.
See the air get under the front of that when he came off the bank?
Yeah, look at it. Woo! Mark did a good job keeping off the wall. Believe me, he was driving that thing right there.
He drove that thing all the way down, it backwards, forwards. He was driving it.
Jeremy Mayfield leads.
Boy, Jeremy got a great restart, and the 0 car got a terrible restart. Jammed him up, but Bill Elliott lost a little bit of ground on Jeremy there on that restart.
Jason Leffler had a problem on the restart, missed a shift or something went wrong mechanically in his car. He seems to be getting back up to speed now.
And Robbie Gordon in the 31 car ran in the back of the 0. Don't know how much damage that he has to his car.
Up front for the lead. Ryan Newman all over the back of Jeremy Mayfield. May understand his best chance to win is to get by him right now.
He's got to get by him and go, because once Elliott clears these cars that are in front of him, he's going to be coming real quick.
27 to go. Ryan Newman out in front. First time he's led all day, Marty.
And Wally, the point you made is exactly what Ryan Newman asked under the caution. He asked, where is Bill Elliott? His crew chief told him he's in 5th, but he has an excellent car. He said, you need to go as soon as you can.
Now he's got to use that clean arrow we talk about all the time to his advantage and try to stretch it out, because Bill's on very good tires. He knows he can go all the way. You know he's going to be making up ground quick.
Tony Stewart running 4th, Matt.
And his crew chief, Greg Zipadelli, telling Tony under the caution, the only car to worry about, we feel, is the 9. He's running a strong 10th, better than anybody. Dave?
Under that caution, Bill Elliott's name came up in conversation between Donnie Wingo, crew chief for Jamie McMurray, and Jamie. He said, Donnie said the 9, he's a-coming, and Jamie said, is he a lot faster? Donnie said, yeah, he's kind of been the class of the field. So they know they're better than a lot of guys. They're not sure they're better than the 9.
I think all the teams realize that the 9 car is the fastest car out there. The only question, can he get to these cars and get to Ryan Newman?
Well, he just cleared the last of the lap cars between himself and the people he's racing for position. So everybody that's in front of him in the line now is for a spot.
And it'll probably get a little bit tougher to pass these cars once he gets to them. But boy, he is so much faster getting into the corner right now than the guys in front of him.
Let's check speeds at the line and compare Ryan Newman and Bill Elliott and the rest of the top 10.
Sounds like a wonderful idea.
Number one.
That time, Elliott just a jig quicker.
And the 3rd place around Jamie McMurray, Dave.
As soon as he saw Bill close in his rearview mirror, especially going into the turns, Jamie radioed in, boy, he's a lot faster, isn't he? Donnie Wingo said to him, I wouldn't mess with him. They let him go.
Ryan Newman is the race leader. Out in front for the first time all race at lap 240. Trying to run the final 78 laps on his tank of fuel. He stayed out on track when the other leaders pitted. That's how he got to the point and then took the lead from Jeremy Mayfield. That's how he got the second. Then he took the lead from Mayfield with 27 to go.
I mean, what is this? Every time we do a race, it seems like we're going through this same situation with Ryan Newman.
Pretty much ditto for Mayfield. Trouble down the front. Car on the wall.
Johnny Benson. Those guys were having such a good run today.
And the caution flag is out.
Okay, Ryan did not want to see this.
And the rescue vehicles are already rolling, coming toward Benson. As the field comes off turn 4, slowing for the yellow flag.
They used to couldn't do that before.
That's right. They had to wait till all the cars got back to the start-finish line, but they can now.
See Johnny unbuckling the helmet. Marty, this might be a huge break for the 12.
Yeah, Wally, I think you're right in one sense. They did not want to see the caution. They had a huge lead, but this does put him good to the finish, so they can definitely make it all the way on fuel. They were going to be 2 laps short, and Matt Borland just shook his hand in the air, said that we're going to be in good shape now, so they can make it all the way on fuel. Johnny Benson out of the car, as you see, Alan.
Trying to watch this group right in there. It looks to me like somehow, I don't know, somehow it looks like the 10 car and the 6 car got together. It looks like the 6 got into the 10's right rear quarter panel, or Johnny drifted up. I'm not sure. Smart thing to do is going to be clear these lap cars as fast as you can, and hopefully that Bill Elliott will take a little extra time to get around them. That's what he wants.
Lap cars are Mike Skinner in the 01, Robbie Gordon in the 31.
But you're right, BP. It looks like the 12 is having a little trouble on the race. I mean, just as good as anyone else, but he didn't have an advantage there. Now he's cleared them.
And Jeremy isn't in the 19. Man, we got him 4 wide going in down the backstretch.
That's not good.
And McMurray loses a spot to Tony Stewart. Jeff Gordon up to challenge.
That's 4th place there. McMurray sliding back. Gordon and now Rusty Wallace to put the pressure on him.
And by Newman getting that good start, he's about a second in front of the 2nd place car, because those guys had to battle those lap cars.
2nd place and 3rd place have cleared the lap traffic. Behind them, the Hornets' nest still continuing. This is back for 5th place.
Whoa.
Tony Stewart there, tangling with a lap car. He wanted that bottom lane.
He got it.
Let's see how.
And Jamie McMurray was able to get back by Jeff Gordon.
Stewart by the lap car of Robbie Gordon. So now Tony Stewart in 4th place, a couple seconds behind leader Ryan Newman. Jimmy Johnson on the move. He and Rusty Wallace racing for a spot. That's 7th and 8th place. Rusty going to get pinned behind the lap car.
Oh, that's frustrating. Frustrating when you can't go. You're racing for position here. The lap car's doing everything he can, but
now Bill Elliott on Jeremy Mayfield for 2nd. He's got to get this pass pulled off quickly if he's going to have a shot at Ryan Newman, because Ryan's out there by a 2nd, and there'll be 10 laps to go. So Elliott through. So there are those drivers racing for 7th, 8th, and 9th, while off of turn 2 already. Bill Elliott continues his determined pursuit of Ryan Newman. A draw last lap time-wise. That was big for Newman.
look at right there. He's catching him getting into the corner, but Ryan's doing everything he needs to do. Marty.
Matt Borland gets a lot of credit for having the guts to make this call to get Ryan Newman out front, and it could be a big week for Matt. He's about 4 days away from having his second child. In fact, Rusty Wallace's jet has been on standby this entire weekend. When his cell phone rang this morning when I was meeting with him, he thought that was the call. They have to go to Martinsville and test Monday and Tuesday. Rusty will have his helicopter there standing by. Matt said this morning, I don't know if I'm more nervous about having the baby or trying to win these races, but it could be a great week, and what a great present it would be to bring the baby into the world with a nice little win at Kansas.
Got cars running into trouble in different places. Dale Jarrett smoking, apron of turn 2. Sterling Marlin coasting, apron of turn 1. NASCAR trying to get those cars to turn off the track to one of the safety stations so we can finish the race under green. We are past the lap at which they'd use the red flag to try and ensure a full speed finish.
Or Sterling Marlin, I didn't see any smoke. I wonder if he ran out of gasoline.
I bet you he did, BP.
Could have run out of fuel.
Hope he doesn't stop on the track because Bill Elliott's closing in on Ryan Newman, and this could be a thriller. 2 laps to go. If that 12 car hiccups at all.
Boy, you could, I mean, just watching that shot right there, he is catching the 12.
Matt, 40 car.
A heartbreaker for Sterling Marlin. They are out of fuel. Sterling said, I can't believe with all the computers and calculators, we still missed it.
They're coming to the white flag. Ryan Newman stopped with 78 laps to go, trying to go to the finish.
Clear by 5.
On fuel and tires, they got 12 laps of caution. Less than a mile and a half to go with Bill Elliott trying to track him down for the win. They've got 1 lap car they're running up on. It's the Joe Nemechek machine, damaged in an earlier crash.
Well, Bill is not going to catch him.
Nope.
Unless he runs out of gas.
He's going to try, though, isn't he?
Oh!
He ran it in there.
He almost crashed trying to do it.
Would you believe they've done it again? They've stretched the fuel. They've made the right strategy call. And for the 8th time this season, Ryan Newman is the first one to the checkered flag. Newman wins by 0.8 of a second over Bill Elliott. The Ray Evernham Dodgers take 2nd and 3rd. Jeff Gordon's bid for the 3rd straight win at Kansas comes up short. He finishes 5th today. Championship standings, there's the gap now, 259 points back to Kevin Harvick. The gap was 354 entering the day. Ryan Newman up to 4th, now just 364 points out of the lead. Is it possible? Could it be?
And Ryan Newman, for the 8th time this season, climbs out of his car in victory lane, and the celebration is underway. And another impressive day for this driver and this team. Congratulations, your 8th win of the season. Tell me about the restart.
Oh, we just had to do what we could. Luckily, Skinner raced us hard there and got the other guys to slow up a little bit. It's both the 19 and the 9. But, you know, obviously, Bill, he had a fast car all day. Ours was good, but we got stuck back in traffic, used strategy to our advantage. I told the guys after the race we didn't deserve this one with our pit stops and everything else, but the guys did an awesome job to be able to fight back and had a good